This election, no intimidation. Protect your selection, we gotta make sure everybody votes count for the future. For the future.
Shine your eye, well. Don't let anybody deceive you. Don't let them take your vote from you. Now your future be that.
Good day, viewers, and welcome to the Citizen's Mind, an online educative program by Mentoring Individuals Dreams Initiative with support from Yaga Africa and its partner, the National Endowment for Democracy. I am Ibon Blessing Usedebame, your anchor for the program. And today we have the CEO of Rome Classic Premium Foods, and is also the founder of Arise Initiative. Edo Arise, and is no other person than Comrade Iyobosa Iruge. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you here.
Yeah.
And today we will be discussing mobilizing youths ahead of 2023 general elections. Now, what does it take to mobilize young persons ahead of elections, Mr. Comrade Iruge?
Okay. First, I would want to appreciate you guys for contributing your own quota towards helping to develop and build our democracy, because it takes collective responsibility for us to get to our destination. First, I think considering the recent awareness on voters registration, I think it has really been very encouraging, and that for me is the first step towards getting involved. You know, because if you don't register for
The privacy.
your you know, that is what you need to elect leaders that would or that make or mouse. You know, if I must say that, because their policies and their programs are things that would shape the society, and we're all parts and parts of the society. So getting registered, and not just getting registered, collecting their PVCs, because if you still look at the data about the uncollected PVCs, you'll be so surprised.
Alarmed,
you know,
yes.
so it's not just about registering, but collecting it, and not just collecting it because they want to use it for bank purposes, but rather also using it to exercise their franchise on election day. Another area where youth can get involved is being members of political party.
Wow.
Because you don't make change from the outside. You don't cause a change from the outside. You see a system and you feel something is wrong with that system, and you are outside. You end up being you just end up being a commentator from the outside. But when you are inside, it will be easy, because only when you are inside, that's when you can get the
effective change.
You know, you can either want to vie for office, you know, or you can actively support a candidate of your choice, you know, given all the consideration. So for me, I feel first getting registered, two, belonging to a political party, then, and also doing what you are doing right now, creating awareness, you know, because there are still so many persons out there that still do not feel the need to get registered. So getting involved is really a whole lot.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
You have actually spoken that getting involved is a whole lot. Joining a political party, getting registered for the voters card, collecting, and then using it on the election day is one of the most important things of the. So now, moving forward, we've actually noticed in recent times that there's been this zeal. Young persons are actually coming out. They are coming up and getting registered. Their sensitizations is on top tier on getting registered, collecting your PVC. So do you think that at this point, the Nigerian youths have actually woken up to their responsibilities?
I would rather want to say they are waking up. they've not woken up.
Okay.
You
So
know,
why would you say that?
okay, because if you look at the population, were these things are issues of data, issues of figures.
Sure.
If for instance in a country, let me just give you, because until this exercise is done and the data is released, INEC has been up. If you go to their site, they've been updating,
Yes.
as to the number of persons that have registered
Registered, yeah.
in every state, in every geopolitical zone, then in the nation at large, and they equally have the demography of those that have registered. However, it will you cannot determine now if we have woken up until the end of this exercise to now see
Sure.
the population of young people as to the number of persons that are of age and as to the number of persons that are registered. Let's take a critical example. For instance, in the time past, in 2019, the last general election that was done, let me use Edo South as a case study. It would interest you to know that in the entire election in Edo South, it was only 24%, not of the population in Edo South, of those that are registered. The statistics of those that are registered in those studies is about 1 million and some fraction for those that are registered as at 2019. But for those that collected their PVCs, we had a situation where the person that won for Senate, for instance, needed about 240,000 votes.
Wow.
You get in a senatorial district where you have over 1 million registered voters. So the issue is not about the fanfare of going to register, clamoring and singing for change. It's about the other things that will follow. Are we really tired of these oppressors? It's a question that we must ask ourselves. Are we really? Because look at the last election I just held at Ekiti State. That is the most recent election.
Sure.
Oshun, they will be having an election this weekend.
Yes.
Okay, so we can use that as the most immediate statistics to. You could see that even though in the history of Ekiti, that was the largest turnout of voters because people are getting aware about getting involved, yes, in the electoral system, which will help build our democracy, because it's the journey we're on.
Yeah,
so and someday we'll get to that destination. But however, you still see a situation where when you compare with the number of young persons and those that participated in the election, it's still a far cry of what we expect. So for me, I'd rather say that we are waking up, because it is a long journey and it will take time and process.
Oh, so we're waking up. It's a journey. It's like a marathon race.
Very well.
It's not something we would just hit on and get it at once.
It is not 100 meters at all.
So we need to keep up the strive and keep moving. So now, we've also looked at the CVRO process. I feel for one that the CVRO process that had to be done online encouraged a lot of young persons to actually get registered, because it afforded them the opportunity to register across various devices.
Yeah.
So whether you have an iOS, you have an Android device, you could just get registered as an individual and move on to completing the process in the INEC offices. So now, are we going to say that DICSA actually had a significant impact in the number of young persons registering?
Yeah. To be honest, it had a huge significant impact, considering, if you go to all of these registration centers. I had someone call me about 2 weeks ago, and the person said, bros, we have to go register now.
Okay.
And that I went to the center at Ego. The place is so full, and they told me to come tomorrow. You see, the problem I have with young people, and the problem I have with Nigerians, is that we always wait for when the thing don't spoil.
Last minute rush. Fire brigade approach.
Exactly the point. And this is going to be very challenging for the electoral umpire, because election is February next year, and the number of persons that are registering is so unprecedented, considering the clamor for a change in governance at all levels. But however, let's not equally forget that these same persons would equally have to undergo the other process of collecting their PVCs.
Oh, definitely.
And that will definitely be before the election. So let's assume we're in July now. Let's assume by November, December, these cards are ready. It will be another equivalent task, locating their PVCs and collecting them. So at that point, some of them may even give up. They say, I don't go 2 times. I don't go 3 times, I not see my PVC. And for that reason, they will just chicken out of the whole process. So, like I said earlier, this whole exercise requires time and
Yes.
it requires patience, and we need to follow the processes because whether you like it or not, because of the unexpected crowd that INEC received this period, there are challenges registering people. They had great challenges registering people, and as such, that's whether you like it or not, that will equally affect the number of persons that have registered over time. If taking for instance, if one institution where so many persons that they went first day, second day, third day, and they could not get registered, and they for some that work, maybe you took permission from
On
your
the
boss,
first day and then the second day.
they just give up.
Oh, definitely.
And so that's why we appeal and we're advocating to the electoral umpire that voters registration must be continuous. There should be no break. Immediately after or before the election, it should be an everyday affair. So once you're of age, because the constitutionally it says that once you become 18, that is only when you can register. So what that simply means is that somebody can be 18 in the next 1 minute.
Definitely.
Somebody can be 18 the next day. So the office should be opened continually for anybody that is of age. That way, we will not have crowd, and that way the process will be seamless.
Definitely. So it means that the process needs to be a continuous one so that it doesn't necessarily have to be towards when an election is going to be held.
Exactly the point.
And then that's when we now have people coming out to register. And looking at getting young persons to actually collect their PVCs, because that's another thing that we need to start preaching into the minds of young persons, that so the process of collecting the PVCs might be as herculean as it was, and might even be more than it was registering. Yeah. So it means that one has to be resilient. You have to just make up your mind and tell yourself that, so today I have dedicated maybe a week for this activity to go get my PVC and then see how it comes out during this period. So now, I'm looking at the security situation in the country currently. Do you think that has a way of creating some form of voter apathy? Or even if it does, what do you think that we can do to curb this, to reduce it to the barest minimum?
I think from my own experience as someone that has been very active in the electoral process, is that I don't really see that as a challenge. The only way it becomes a problem is when people don't participate. Let's take for instance, I know right now the security situation in the country is terrible, but in a situation where you have 1,000 persons that are registered in a unit, and 800 of those persons turn up on election day and they're on the field, there's nobody that will come, even with not minding the kind of tools the person will come with, that will not be scared of that population, because population is strength. You get?
Yes.
So usually, why they say the game is dirty, to scare a lot of persons away, because when you do not participate and you come up with that mindset that the political process and practices is a dirty thing, that way you give politicians the opportunity to be able to rig election. It is not possible for an election to be rigged where more than 80% of the voters in that unit turn up on election day. So for security, and it gets to a state where you are threatened by even what to eat, when what to eat becomes a more security threat than
the physical
security threat. That way, the spirit to resist such attack would be on everybody, because what we're looking at that point in time is the collective good of everybody. Because like I told somebody, I said it's quite unfortunate that Nigerians, yes, we are waking up, but it's a pity that we are still not where our brothers in Africa want us to be, because they look at us
Yeah, well,
and they refer to us as their big brother.
elder brother.
And they want us to help redirect the African continent. But it's so unfortunate that we're still not ready. Because a country that is ready, you'll be able to see it from the last secretary election, where people still you see young persons on, they even did video showing how much they collected just to vote for
A political party.
for a political party. So that tells you that as young people, we still have a lot. And let's not remove education from this whole scenario.
Okay.
As small persons that are educated, that will get involved in the political process, would equally help to shape the entire system. Because whether you like it or not, for some persons, okay, let me give an example. For an artisan, for instance, maybe a tailor or a mechanic,
Yeah.
that doesn't feel government presence throughout the tenure, would rather want to collect 5,000 naira on election day to vote.
Yeah,
but
I
because
feel
for
like
him,
that is the part of the
because for him, that's his own share. So I think a lot, we need collectively, we need to, if we come out en masse,
then we
security
can
will not be a challenge.
Okay.
Because it is difficult for an unrest to happen where everybody, an environment that is aware, and they are alive to their responsibility.
Very true. So it means that even on the election day, when people come out, they need to be aware, they need to take proper care of their environment, security conscious. Security consciousness is everybody's business. That's what I keep telling people when I come across them. So if you're walking along the street, you notice someone who is not acting, we have the way we call properly. Someone who is fidgeting for no just cause. It's not out of place to call on the person and find out what is happening. Or you notice someone who is strange in an environment that has not been there for over a time, and then the person is just standing and watching and keeping view of people that are going and coming. Then you can also ask that kind of a person that, are you lost? Do you need something? Or definitely. So it means that whatever we're working at as a people,
Yes.
we need to work together collectively to achieve the Nigeria of our dream. So, and what would you call the Nigeria of your dream?
I would call the Nigeria of my dream that a nation where the son of nobody can be somebody, where you don't need big stomach to be classified as being
A big man.
a big man, where you do not need a godfather before you can contest a political position, where you can get a shop and your business will strive, and people will patronize you not because you are a member of party A or party B, but because we want Nigeria to work.
Wow, that's a tall dream you have there for Nigeria. A Nigeria where everybody is important. Nobody is looked down on. That's a beautiful Nigerian dream. And I wish and pray and hope that we will achieve it. If not now, sometime in the nearest future.
The truth of the matter is that anything is achievable if we make strategic plans, because our plans have to be strategic.
Oh, definitely. Strategic
in the sense that if you read about great nations in the world today, at some point we're at par. We're both at par. But right now, they've gone 100 years ahead of us. Wow. Because at the moment, Nigeria is seen as the dumping ground for the West. You get. Wow. Somebody told me some days ago that he traveled abroad and he was asking them, why is there no Techno or no Infinix? And they said such products cannot get into this territory that is meant for the African market, particularly the Nigerian market. So there are products particularly designed for us because first, they do not meet standard. Secondly, because of our economic activities, we always prefer to go for low price products. And when you get a low price product, they must have reduced certain
Qualities.
SYZ quality to ensure that it meets
Meets-
the demand. That's why you can buy a gadget, and before you know, in 2 to 3 months, you are still having issues with that.
the gadget, and now
And-
starts repairing.
And there's no warranty for you to return. The kind of warranty we have in this part of the world is for repair. They'll direct you to their care center where they will fix it for you. So I think going forward,
Yeah.
it is important that for every young person to not just participate. You owe the country and you owe yourself the responsibility to not just participate, but to galvanize your friends within your neighborhood, to also be part of this process. Because in an election where young persons are made up of over 60% of the voting population, and in the entire election we have about 24-25%. That's never been up to. The highest we've had was about 36% participation in the entire federation of the registered voter, not of the population of the nation, of the registered voter. So what that simply means is that we have less than 50% of those that determine who becomes our leader voting on election day. So the problem we have are not those that vote, those 25 or 30% that vote the leader, are those 70% that sit at home. They are the problem of this country. And until we all wake up, nothing will change.
Responsibility. So you have heard it, viewers. We've been talking with Comrade Yobo Sairugi, the founder of Edo Arise and the
Classic premium foods.
Classic Premium Foods.
Yeah.
So now he's told us that to galvanize the Nigerian youths to participate in the electioneering process, it is something that is of utmost importance. And that if we want a Nigeria of our dream, where everyone's dream can become alive, where everyone would have the opportunity of experiencing great and marvelous things, it means that we need to get involved. We need to walk the talk. We need to register for the PVCs, and not just register for the PVCs. We need to go and collect it. It's one thing to register, it's another thing to collect the PVC and then use it on election day. Vote that candidate of your choice. Because now we've got the candidates already going round and letting people know what is their plans for the Nigerian populace. So if at this point you have started hearing this candidates talk, it means that you need to pick out one of these candidates who meets or who has actually promised to give you the Nigeria of your dream. So it's left to you, it's left to all of us. It is not just the people who sit at home and make mouths and talk about how Nigeria will be great. It is about those who actually put in the work to make Nigeria great. And until I see you again for the next episode of The Citizen's Mind, I'd advise that you go out.
Before you call it a wrap,
Yes, please.
I would want to advise young people out there
Okay.
that we are in another era
Okay.
where we'll decide who would govern and lead us. I want to advise young people out there that if Mr. A has decided to support Party A,
Okay.
and Mr. C decides to support Party B, do not think or feel that it is only you that can determine who will take Nigeria to the next level.
Oh.
What about choice? We're in the country. What about our choices to make? So if my choice is different from your choice, I want to beg young people, please let us respect one another's choice and be tolerant with one another, because this is where issues are. Taking for instance, I'm not supporting who you are supporting, then I'm backward. No, the angle I'm seeing it from may be different from where you are seeing it from. And we cannot all put our heads in the same basket. I want to beg us that not because Party A or Party B become enemies. And at the end of the day, when we are sleeping, these men, they are on the same table sharing a bottle of champagne together. And Definitely. At the end of the day, you have become enemy to your neighbor, enemy to your. Let's not forget, we were those join any of these political parties. Let's respect our choices and let us be tolerant to one another. That is my final word on this show.
Thank you very much, sir. So we've heard it from Comrade Yobo, sir. We must be tolerant. We must not look down on other people's choices. We must respect their rights as individuals because everyone has the right to support whatever party or individual they choose. So until we meet again on the next episode of The Citizen's Mind, remember that you are a civic change maker. Whatever way you can, please go out and go all out and support and be part of the electioneering process towards getting the Nigeria of our dream. Do have a lovely time. Bye for now.
Thank you very much.